My name is Cindy Gravely. I'm a 4th grade math teacher at Harley Elementary. This is my capstone project for my specialist degree in instructional technology at Kennesaw State University. The title of my capstone project is Using Constructed Response Assessments Incorporating Technology in the Math Classroom. Harley Elementary has always had good student achievement scores in reading and math. Over the summer, it was noted that the achievement scores on state-mandated tests were remaining stagnant. Meanwhile, the state's achievement level continued to increase. For the first time in many years, Harley Elementary had a D based on the College and Career Ready Performance Index score of 66.2. This presented a problem for Harley because what teachers had been doing in previous years with reading and math instruction was no longer showing growth in student achievement scores. In order to address the needs, teachers first had to know exactly where students were academically. Harley Elementary addressed this need through the iReady Diagnostic Assessment Program. Once teachers knew the specific skills standards students needed, adjustments to instruction were made to increase rigor in classroom lessons and assessments. Harley Elementary is asking all teachers in math to implement a problem-based learning model. This model allows students to go deeper into math content, teaches strategies more than answers, and requires students to respond to authentic, engaging, constructed responses, questions, or tasks. It requires students to think through why their solution works or does not. With problem-based learning and constructed response questions, students will be able to answer questions such as, how do you know, or why do you think so? Once instruction is adjusted, teachers will need to adjust the way they are assessing students. In the past, most assessments at Harley have used multiple choice answers. Research shows multiple choice questions encourage teaching and learning facts and rote memory. Teachers are being asked to shift their assessments to include more constructive response questions. This will help students shift their need from getting the right answer to understanding why the answer is correct and applying this to what is being taught in new situations. One problem with constructive response assessments is students skip these type of questions most often. One way to overcome this disadvantage is by incorporating technology. Students reported that technology positively impacted attendance to class, preparation for class, study habits, and on-task behavior. With the amount of information students are required to process in a short amount of time, it is imperative that students are attending and are prepared for class. Teachers have been very hesitant to incorporate constructive response questions because it takes a good bit of time to create well-developed constructive response questions which ask students to apply knowledge, skills, and critical thinking in real-world problems. This capstone will address the needs of teachers and administration by providing teachers with access to a website with different constructive response problems that incorporate technology into the classroom. In order to help teachers at our school incorporate a problem-based approach in the classroom, a website will be created to provide teachers with examples of constructive response questions and tasks. The website will include different types of tasks and questions that incorporate technology into instruction. The website will help meet the needs of our school by having a collection of resources available to teachers for implementing a project-based learning approach in the classroom that provides students with the opportunity to engage in higher-order thinking activities. The next project item is to plan, create, and provide professional development for the use of the website, constructive response questions, and technology for assessment. The information provided in the professional development sessions will be gathered through needs-based surveys sent to the classroom math teachers and special education teachers in 3rd through 5th grade every quarter. In order to meet the future needs of teachers at Harley Elementary, a survey will need to be created to determine if the website was effective in helping teachers implement a problem-based learning approach in the classroom and provided students with higher order thinking opportunities and meets the needs of all students through differentiation. In order to determine if a project or a plan is implemented correctly and is beneficial for all parties involved, the project needs to be evaluated regularly so that areas for improvement can be adjusted. The first part of the project involves creating an online survey to identify teachers' usage of constructive response questions, current level of technology for assessment, and the need for examples for specific standards. The data and information from the survey will be used to plan the website, the specific standards for constructive response tasks and questions, and the different technologies needed to use for assessments. The second project item is the creation of a website that includes constructive response questions, tasks on specific standards identified in the survey from the first activity. The goal is for teachers to use the website to increase rigor in the classroom through a problem-based learning approach. The website will also incorporate different technologies for the teachers to use in the classroom to assess students with higher order thinking activities. The next project item is to provide 3 different professional development sessions to introduce and explain the website, constructive response questions and tasks, and various technology to use for assessment. The topics for professional development sessions will be determined through the quarterly surveys given to classroom math teachers and special education teachers. The last project item is the final survey to determine if the website was effective in helping teachers implement a problem-based learning approach in the classroom, provided students with higher order thinking opportunities, and met the needs of all students through differentiation. Feedback from the school administration will also be used to determine if the goals of this project were met and were successful in increasing the use of constructive response questions in 3rd through 5th grade and math classes. In January of 2017, all math teachers in 3rd through 5th grade were provided with the first survey. Due to few responses, individual interviews were conducted with math and special education teachers. It was determined that teachers are using technology to enhance instruction effectively in the classroom. 4th and 5th grade teachers used Schoology, the county-purchased learning management system, to assess students formally and informally. At this point, teachers only used multiple-choice type questions to assess learning in Schoology. Teachers use constructive response questions, but not with technology because they are not sure how to create the assessments. The next step of the project was to begin construction of the website that included constructive response questions for every numbers and operations in Base 10 systems domain. Teachers had requested at least 2 constructive responses for each standard. The website included the constructive response questions and the constructive response questions in Google Forms. In March of 2017, the second survey was sent. Only half of the teachers completed the survey. Therefore, individual interviews were conducted again. According to the analyzed data, teachers do not want any professional development on the use of constructive response website nor problem-based learning. The teachers only wanted a database of constructive response questions because they did not want to use Google Forms to assess students. Unfortunately, the Capstone project needed to be revised because 2 of the objectives of the project were to provide constructive response questions that incorporate technology into assessments and to provide professional development on problem-based learning. After conducting additional interviews, it was determined teachers needed and wanted professional development on how to create assessments that include constructed response questions on Schoology. In the following months, the website was updated to include a collection of constructive response questions for all numbers and operations and fraction standards and measurement data standards. A professional development session was conducted in May to instruct teachers how to create assessments on Schoology. Teachers were taught how to use the website to copy and paste the constructive response questions into Schoology. Teachers were also able to connect their Schoology account to Power Teachers, the county's online gradebook system. The professional development session did not go according to plan, because teachers had different levels of comfort in using technology. Many of the teachers asked for individual help to create the assessments so that they could go step by step and take notes. It was agreed upon that once school started back in August, individual professional development sessions would be conducted. At the beginning of the 2017-2018 school year, individual professional development sessions were held with 3rd and 5th grade teachers to set up quizzes and assessments in Schoology. Teachers were successfully able to create different types of quizzes for the next 3 units, along with mini quizzes to be used as formative assessments. By the end of the sessions, all teachers felt comfortable creating quizzes and connecting them to PowerTeacher. The website was also updated to include constructive response questions for the geometry and the operations and algebraic thinking standards. At the conclusion of the project, the final survey and individual interviews completed showed that the teachers that participated in the professional development felt comfortable creating assignments on Schoology. The 5th grade math teacher shared that she only gives constructive response assessments and math on Schoology. Since participating in the professional learning sessions, this teacher still requires students to show their work on paper because Schoology doesn't have all the necessary symbols for math. According to the lead instructional technologist for Bartow County, the county has requested updates to the math capabilities of the Schoology software so that all math assessments can be given through the LMS. The teachers that were interviewed shared that the website has been helpful, but have asked for additional constructive response questions on all standards so that they can use them in instruction and for assessment throughout the next year. This will be accomplished during vertical math planning days and professional learning committee meetings. The teachers have also asked to create different tasks with geometry that require students to use critical thinking skills. The administrators at Uharley Elementary agree that all math teachers are regularly incorporating problem-based learning in their instruction through the use of constructive response questions and tasks. Teachers have reported that they feel comfortable using constructive response questions, but still are having a difficult time finding a multitude of examples to use in the classroom. The school administration would like for the website to include kindergarten through 2nd grade constructive response questions, and it has been discussed creating a professional learning opportunity for the specific purpose of creating math constructive response questions for all standards and all grade levels within the next year. Throughout this project, I learned classroom teachers must effectively implement instructional technology in order to increase student achievement. Technology leaders must pave the way for how to incorporate technology best practices. These technology leaders must have the necessary knowledge and skills to foster effective change in the use of instructional technology. Teachers must be provided with resources, training, ongoing support, and encouragement in facilitating technology use in their classroom. Leaders must be flexible, able to communicate effectively, and they should exhibit and expect professional behavior. Overall, I found the project to be successful. The goal of the project was to increase the use of constructive response questions during instruction and to assess content math standards, increase the use of technology for assessments, and to increase opportunities for students to be engaged in lessons using the problem-based learning approach. In reflection upon the results of the Capstone experience, I would like to take the next steps in sharing more technology-rich opportunities with teachers to increase technology usage across the different grade levels. I will continue to locate and implement new technology innovations to use in the classroom and to share with colleagues.